Let's talk today about vacations and PTO. Working in dentistry is unlike anything most of us have ever experienced before, and every office has different expectations. So, when you work in an office, sometimes there's that dreaded discussion of vacation, PTO time. How does it work in your office? What is the policy? So, basically, what I'm asking is your doctor goes on vacation. Are you expected to take time off when your doctor takes off? Or does your doctor bring in a temp? You work around that. What is the plan when it comes to the doctor, staff, anybody needing time off? This can be very frustrating, and it should be something that's spelled out from day one. At the interview, this is what's expected. I once did an interview at an oral surgery office. Halfway through the interview, I was told, by the way, you can't take the summer off. And, honestly, that was the first time I had ever heard that. And I said, well, what do you mean I can't take the summer off? And he said, well, it's our busiest time of the year. And, we don't take the summer off. Well, unfortunately, that doesn't align with what I have going on because I go to the beach every year in the summer. I'm not going to the beach in October. So at that point, I said, I don't think this is going to work. So why even continue on this charade of going through with the interview at that point because it's not going to work. And I was told up front. Now, if I got hired and then, March rolls around, hey, I'm going to take a week in June, July. And now I'm told this is the problem of lack of communication to where it leads to people getting angry. So if you're an office that expects your team to take off when you take off, you have to tell them right out of the gate, right? You have to be upfront and say, this is what happens. I've worked in offices like this before. The problem is I'm a planner. The doctor I worked with was not a planner. I like to set my vacation up in December, January. I like to knock it out, get it set up. The problem is this doctor would wait. I'm constantly asking what's going on. So eventually that obviously didn't work out because then, of course, by the time he finally did schedule a vacation, I couldn't work it out. And it's a lot to expect your employees to take off when you take off because they have to factor in, okay, well, what does their spouse do? That's something I had to look at was, okay, can my spouse take off when I take off? So you have to factor in all of those things when coming up with this game plan. And if that is your plan, it works for some people, it's great, but you have to give the appropriate notice and let your staff know what's going on. So for those of you who are employees, what does your office do when it comes to vacation time, PTO? Do you have to take off when the doctor takes off? Or are you free to do what you need? But of course, you have to keep in mind what's going on with the other staff. For example, if there's 3 assistants, they probably can't have 2 assistants off at the same time. So let us know, drop a comment. Feel free to send us a message if you want to keep it private. And we'd love to hear from you and hear all about this PTO vacation experience.